It's stuck in my
I don't
head.
have music for this,
No, you
so
don't.
okay. So
It's the Monsters theme.
no, it's not because that
Or
we don't have
Agatha.
money for that.
Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along.
We just watched the new episode and no spoilers, but dang.
Right. So welcome to another show here on Nerd Herder.
Welcome to the party.
We are becoming a show of variety now. We started with just Star Wars, and that was
Mm-hmm.
what was the best for us and good for us and everything, and that's been awesome and, well, sort of awesome because
Mm.
we didn't know about Star Wars Twitter before the podcast.
Yeah.
um,
And now we've fully integrated into Star Wars Twitter.
and it's a war zone. And then we found that, hey, people wouldn't mind hearing us talk about other things because, like us, they have other interests, and so we started talking about that on Nerdiverse, and so yeah, we have our variety of stuff, and now we're adding in something new where we're kind of just going casual with it. Um,
Yeah.
this kind of just came about of randomness. Like it's hard to explain. It was just a thing of just that look, at each other of like, let's try this,
Yeah.
and now we're here.
It seemed like fun. And you guys heard it here first. We are a variety show.
Yeah,
Yeah. Stay tuned for Adam Goswick playing the tuba.
sure, maybe one day. Yeah, subscribe to Patreon if you want to see that. No.
Yeah, I'm going to get like a text from Adam being like, what the heck?
Right,
What are
right.
you
What did
talking
you sign me up for? So we're calling this Hat Chatter. What we're going for is basically this is no fandom. This is just us chit chatting. Taking time to just be us and talk about other things. It's not going to be overtaking the airwaves of Nerd Herder. It's just going to be something in the mix and everything.
Yeah.
And the idea behind it being Hat Chatter is we have a hat of topics, and there was no scheming of like, how do we make this cool? How do we make this fun? No, we just,
No.
well,
I I
we talked about the idea, and then you just went for it.
I have a if you're not watching the video, this is a Donald Duck hat that is made to look like Darth Maul.
Hmm.
It is my favorite hat in the world
Yeah.
because you bought it for me,
Oh,
and also because
it's two of your favorite
it's two of my
characters.
favorite
Yeah.
things. I saw the hat sitting on my lamp where I keep it, and I was like, that'd be a good place for questions to live.
Right.
And so we both
Yeah, we wrote down questions.
yeah we both wrote down like 20 questions, something like that.
I don't think I contributed my share.
You did write down a lot of questions.
I did,
This
but I
hat
don't
is
think
full.
20.
Like let's get some ASMR in there.
Yeah, there's
There you
actual
go.
questions
There's
and an
actual
actual
questions.
hat, and we are actual people, and this is actually our house.
Here's the sound that
Don't believe what
the
Agatha
hat
says.
makes. There you go.
Jesus. Oh, take me now, Lord. Okay. So yeah, we didn't really have a thing.
No.
It was just the idea of wanting to do something where we can just talk, because something we've come to love about the community of podcasters, and like, we can't even call it like Star Wars community, although that's our main outlet. And if you go to our Twitter and our Instagram and all that, a lot is going to be Star Wars, but like we've grown very comfortable and casual with
Yeah.
the people around us and the community, and we talk about everything. And so it was the idea of leaning into that and using that of like, hey, well, maybe we could just talk. No fandom, no agenda, no thing behind it. We just want to talk, and see what people think and what they have to add to it. And it's just another reminder that everything we do for the sake of community. We want to
Yeah.
talk. We want to grow out a conversation. And so when we talk about droids, we want your input. When we talk about, the Fast and Furious movies, we want your input. When we just talk about life or whatever happens to get pulled out of the hat, we want your input.
Yeah.
So,
And this
eh,
is a mix of like serious, I would say, questions and like just fun, goofy
yeah,
questions.
and we don't know what's going to happen.
No. No
So
one knows.
we're recording right now, hoping we get good content,
And if
and
we
it might
don't,
be crap.
you're still gonna get it though, because we are nothing if not consistent.
So if you want more crap like this in your life, make sure, subscribe and like if you're a video person, or subscribe and rate wherever you get the audio of it.
Mm-hmm.
However you get your crap, just make sure you're ready to receive it at any given moment.
Like, comment, and survive, my guy.
Right. Destroy that like button.
Absolutely decimate.
Fondle that subscribe button. And take those ratings to school because they need an education. I don't know.
Dear God, they need an education.
Right, I don't know.
All right.
So yeah, without further ado, I guess let's try
Mhm.
it and let's see what happens.
Yeah. Do you want to pull first? Do you want me to pull first?
You've got the hat, so you have the power.
I do, in fact,
And I
have
want
that.
coffee.
I'm trying not to pull one of my own questions, but whoop. Here's one.
This is not an ASMR channel. I need you to stop, and I need you to control yourself.
Pick something in the collection to talk about. Ooh.
That one's yours?
No.
That
You
one's
wrote this
mine?
one. Yeah.
Oh. I don't remember what I said.
Well, you see, darling, it's not in my handwriting, so it's got to be yours.
I am so paranoid that like my childhood trauma is going to come back and get me. I change my handwriting all the time so they can't track me down. I'm in the John protection program.
As am I.
So
Like, I love the John, and I will protect the John.
yeah, so my
and feed it.
handwriting, you know what? It's to the point. I don't think they'll be able to find me if something happens because like I change it so much,
Yeah.
and it's not on purpose. I don't know.
And I feel like I'm one of the few people that can actually read your handwriting.
Yeah,
like,
me and you. That's it.
Your K's are just redonkulous.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway,
So pick something in the collection. I think my idea with this one was because we talk about all the time of like the sentiment behind, what we collect and why we collect and everything. It's not just for the sake of this is super ultra exclusively rare con edition 2011 limited 500. Like,
Yeah.
everything kind of has a point to what we do.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably what I was going for. I have to assume because I don't remember writing it.
I want to talk about. I want to talk about my first Chica figure from the Five Nights at Freddy's collection.
Okay. What is
Because-
Five Nights at Freddy's for those that maybe aren't up and up or don't have more than their child's understanding?
Ask your 12-year-old. No.
No, please don't. They'll just tell you what Matt Pat said, and
Yeah.
Matt Pat is not the authority.
Matt Pat is not the authority. Five Nights at Freddy's is a horror game that children should not be playing, honestly. But like,
I don't think it's that bad.
it's not bad. It does deal with a lot of child death, but if you're comfortable with your kids doing
Yeah,
that,
but it's
that's more
pixelated.
power to you. Yeah. But there are 4 animatronics that are the main. There's Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie.
Yeah.
Now, I am someone who, for a long time, was not comfortable sharing a lot of my nerdiness. Like,
Fair. I mean, you
I-
do have boobs, so that's generally not accepted.
you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Certain people are going to be offended I said it that way, but like,
No, but like, I was so used to being like talked over and questioned of, oh, do you really like this thing? Are you really a nerd? That I just sort of stopped talking about it for the
Mhm.
longest time.
Yeah.
So I would be quietly reading my books. I would be, quietly consuming media and video games because every time I tried to talk about it, there was always that guy.
Mhm.
Everyone knows that guy. His name is usually Kyle. Like, everyone knows a Kyle.
Mhm.
I realized the other day that I know a lot of people named Charles or Charlie, and it's overwhelming. But anyway,
I don't. That's weirder.
I talk to a lot more people though.
I guess.
That is true. Where was I? Yeah. So when I went to Walmart one day, I saw the Five Nights at Freddy's figures,
Mhm.
and I had like a full existential moment where I was like, "Do I really want this thing that I love?" Like, I love the look of the McFarlane Five Nights at Freddy's toys. They look fantastic. They look exactly like they walked out of the game.
Funko.
Funko.
Remember, we made this
That's
mistake
right.
before.
No, those were McFarlane before.
No.
The original
No,
ones.
no, no.
No?
No.
Funko?
They're always Funko.
Oh.
McFarlane,
They make
the like faux Lego sets for
Yes.
some reason. They've really gotten into that because they do that with what's the pickle guy? Pickle Rick. The Rick and Morty. They do Rick and Morty. They
Hmm.
do they do a couple of others. For some reason, they like get in on these weird properties and are like, hey, let's make like less than quality Legos of
They
them.
are less than quality. I don't know why I
It's
bought
so
them.
weird. Well, because there's so little at the time, Five
Hmm.
Nights at Freddy's stuff. So, but like, yeah, it's really really weird. Like adult, it's the reason adults just play with Legos instead of adult Legos because adult Legos suck.
They do suck. But
So Funko makes
yeah,
the figures.
yeah.
We made this mistake before, just correcting it. McFarlane's stuff still sucks, but there's a reason the properties went back to NECA.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Um but yeah, I saw them on the shelf and I was like, do I really want this thing? It, would it bring up questions of, well, why do you have this? And then in that moment, I decided I don't care. I legitimately do not give a crap who sees my collection and is like, well, are you actually a fan of this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, you dummy. I I bought the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a whole revelation standing there in Walmart that I was like, why do I care if anyone questions my fandom?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it to them?
Right.
Like, what does it add to my life? What does it take away from their life if I like a thing and buy something from it?
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought the whole dang set. But the Chica was the first one. But yeah, that
Because
was
cupcake.
yeah. I like the cupcake. It's very cute. And then that started a whole collection frenzy, honestly, because you've had a collection your entire life. Well, most of it. I was raised with a bunch of boys, so collecting was their thing. But that's why later in life I've been on a frenzy of like, I have to get every Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I
Yeah.
have to have all of them because I want them to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still out for the turtle bus.
Yeah. If you see a turtle bus or a shell bus or I don't remember
I
I don't
don't
remember what it's
remember.
specifically. Hit us up though.
Hit me up,
Hit us up with
please.
that Kenner TMNT.
Yeah.
I think it's Kenner, right?
Mm,
I don't remember.
I don't remember
Maybe
either.
it's Mattel.
I think it is Mattel.
For me, and before I talk about what I actually decided to go with, and this is the thing of picking them random, is you kind of just have to think on the spot and
Mm-hmm.
pick something. Because I feel like if we thought about it, we'd probably pick different things,
Yeah,
and I think that's the cool spontaneity of it. Before I talk about what I want to talk about, though, if you didn't see it on Twitter, we have something new to the collection
we
from
do.
our friend at Galaxy Props. And he's a guy on Twitter. You can check out his page for all kinds of customs and all kinds of like additions he
Oh
does,
my
paint
gosh.
jobs and LED work he does with mostly Star Wars figures and everything. And that's how we met him. You know, we just were fans of his stuff, and then
Yeah.
we started purchasing certain things, and we commissioned him for some stuff, and now sort of the holy grail of the work we've asked of him has been the Slave One sets, the
Yes.
Django and Boba version, and we recently got the Boba returned, and it looks fantastic.
It
And
looks
again,
absolutely
you
incredible.
can check out our Twitter for that. And so, would be remiss not to say that now we have wonderful parts of our collection. We have the Slave One. We'll soon have Django's with it. We have a cool Mandalorian jetpack piece. We have a probe droid,
Yes.
almost life sized, and I mean
I love the probe
the
droid.
second sister or the seventh sister probe droid, not the like Empire probe
Yeah.
droid. That's too big, but yeah, the little spider droid we have almost life sized of that. We have Rey Skywalker's lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
So we've gotten a lot of wonderful things in our collection from our friend at Galaxy Props, and so would be remiss not to shout him out and thank him and tell you to go give him your money. He's a busy guy, so but he will definitely deliver if you
Yeah.
trust him. So do that. Um, so for mine, again, because of the spontaneity of it, and because of the whole like, if I had to think, I would probably come up with some item that maybe is more important or bigger, better, whatever. I don't know. I'd also maybe try to pick something that's not Star Wars because we talk about that so much, and we have other parts of our collection. But um, if I have to talk about something that's in the collection that I'm motivated to be like, hey, this is here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if anybody kept up with our Star Wars Celebration stuff, then you would know we made quite a few purchases there,
Yes,
as
we did.
everyone does. And some of them were just, man, this is the only time because thousands of people are here with thousands of toys. Like this is the one
Mhm.
time to fill in gaps, and so we bought a lot of stuff to. I mean, because we don't live in a place where our store is constantly stocked.
Yeah, we have one comic book
Yeah, we
store.
depend on comic book stores. We depend on resellers and everything like that. So Star Wars Celebration was a haven of that for the collection. Um, but also things got like special and sentimental. And there I bought back, not mine obviously, but
Mhm.
like I bought back pieces of my collection just because like I saw them and like was overwhelmed with emotion. And it's just like, I
Yeah.
have to have this.
Yeah, I remember a
Um,
couple of times you like
yeah,
hitting me on the
freaking
arm
out.
and just be like, "Look at that."
Yeah, because there were so many things that were vintage and also just older and original, and from those days, the
Mhm.
early days of my fandom and everything. Um, so it was something where like when we went through a transition when I was younger, a lot of things just went away because it had to. We didn't have time to be sentimental, no matter what you felt about it.
Yeah.
It was an idea of we're moving because we have to, and you get what you get. And so at the time as a kid, I really didn't care as much. Um, I don't know. It was just a weird space, so I didn't really feel lost, not having certain things, having to get rid of stuff. And of course, majority of what I had was Star Wars. So a lot of things just went away
Mhm.
because of that. And again, it wasn't until Celebration where certain things where it was just like, oh my gosh, that toy. And it was just this grab of like you need this. I'd never missed it until then. And it could be just the height of emotions that go on at Star Wars Celebration and everything where you're just surrounded by this love of Star Wars. And so this thing that seems so small is now made super important.
Mhm.
But back in the day in 1999, when Hasbro acquired the rights for Star Wars toys, that they produced the majority of what Star Wars toys people love and have to this day. And they released a lot of stuff. Um, they released a lot of the Phantom Menace stuff because that was the new Star Wars. Like,
Yep.
it's gonna sell, and it did sell.
Those are some of the best toys.
This was back in the day when Toys R Us did stock and always had stuff, and I remember that, and I remember going down the aisles of Star Wars toys and having so much to choose from and everything. Couldn't afford all of it, but
No.
I just remember being able to get something new every time we went there. And I remember specifically the whole endeavor of getting these original items. I'm going to talk about the originals because I project that onto the ones I currently have. Because the ones I got, they're boring. I just got them at Star Wars Celebration because they represent the original figures and everything. But there was this set of, they were really into gimmicks then, of like, hey, this toy does this, put this on in this play set and it does that. And making toys more playable and everything was really big. And so they did this set of three of the Jedi and the Sith. They had Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, and
Mhm.
it was a way to reenact the duel because they were action. That's the idea behind action figures is they could do a thing. They had a gimmick. Press a button on their back and they slash and hack, and
Yeah.
you can make them duel basically without having to move the parts yourself and blah blah blah. But what was cool about it was the way you did it was you plugged them into a mini version of their lightsaber. So the figure was just a figure until you put the handle on, which was stylized after their lightsaber, and you pressed a button on the lightsaber. The ignition button of the lightsaber made them dual, and it was really cool. I didn't have friends to do that with, so I could only do two at a time.
Oh.
Luckily, when reenacting the scene, it's one on one usually because Darth
Usually.
Maul's splitting them up and everything. But for the occasional time I needed all three to go together, it wasn't working. I tried to have my dog hold it. It didn't work. It was just
No.
sad.
Rocky didn't have thumbs.
Yeah. So there's nothing special about the toys. They're Qui Gon, Obi Wan, and Darth Maul. Um, but I remember that whole car ride. Like my mom just did not understand them because it was like, why are these special versus the? I already had them. I already had the trio.
Hmm.
Why did I buy you more of the same people? Like it was the beginning of the end of just like, why do you need two versions of the same thing? And I still go through that argument in my head. I was trying to explain, like, no, it comes with a lightsaber and you do that, and it's like, oh, so the lightsaber lights up and everything, and it's like, no, it's like a handle. I mean, it does have like a little telescoping saber, but it's like 6 inches long.
Yeah.
Like if you ignite the saber itself, like that was the multifacetedness of the gimmick was you could have a mini lightsaber. It looks more like a light dagger, and you could have an action figure, and you can put those together and have a gimmicked action figure. Like it was just like
Yes.
this. Oh my gosh, there's so many cool
There's
things.
so much room for activities.
And these were my first lightsabers.
Hmm.
And they don't even count. But these were like my first, like, oh my gosh, this looks like I went around the house with a freaking flashlight. Okay. Like this was like, this looks like a lightsaber. It's got the color of the blade. It's real to me. Okay. And it was just like super special. And then, of course, it was just like the idea of that was my, I remember that was like my definitive Darth Maul figure and everything. And like,
Yeah.
it was just, it was special, and they were my favorite. They were my. I don't know why they got special treatment. I don't remember what it was, but they got like they were my favorite in my Star Wars collection forever.
Hmm.
Um, and then yeah, they were included in that pile. They were included in that. Hey, these don't go with us.
Yeah.
And as a kid, it was just kind of like okay, I just went along with it. I mean, it was just the way it was, you know.
Hmm.
I didn't question it too much, and I didn't feel it. Um, and I think that's one of the biggest times in my life where I've had that wave of nostalgia. I joke about nostalgia all the time, and I do have moments where I'm like, oh man, this just really feels like it originally did. Like this transports me somewhere else. This feels right and good, and I talk about that a lot. But like on a real level, it's mostly just feel good stuff.
Yeah.
Versus this was like the first overwhelming. This is my childhood in my hands,
Hmm.
and that was why I bought them back, and that's why they're in my collection now because it was just like this is something tangible. This is something I can hold and show people, and it represents me. It represents young Star Wars fan John. And like that's like the idea of collecting with me is just this idea of I can tangibly pull out something that represents parts of my life. I have the last figure my mom ever gave me. I have the only figure, and I go on record for this, that my father ever bought me. I have my first Transformer. I have the last Transformer I ever bought. And I have like, everything represents something. There's very rarely a time when I just buy something because it's cool,
Yeah.
and usually if I do, it's not like fandom related. And I talk about Star Wars a lot, but like, I have a variety of collecting and everything. I have a Terminator figure that my mom bought me when I was 8 years old, too young to A, know about Terminator, B, like Terminator, C, buy Terminator in Hot Topic. I bought him in Hot Topic. That, like, so many things that would get my mom in trouble probably if I was raised now. But like, it's like I have that figure, but
Yeah.
and it's a stupid figure. It's an old figure, but it's a thing of just like I remember freaking out in Hot Topic because oh my gosh, Terminator makes toys,
Hmm.
and my mom was like, yeah, and it's yours, and it's like okay,
Which is such a Christy Wilcox thing. Like,
so
I love her so
yeah,
much.
so like and that's where and that's the whole thing of it. Like there none of what I own is special physically. Like none of it is cool enough. None of it's all just plastic. It's all made in China. It's all just stuff. It's the stuff behind the stuff, that matters and everything. And that's what I love about collecting is either in the moment, like I have things I've held on to for the 20 plus years
Hmm.
that I've had it. Like I have my original droid binoculars from I bought two things when I went and saw, and this was really cool back in the day, is like you could go to certain theaters and they would have merch shops.
Yeah.
And I remember going to the SCAD theater in Savannah, near the mall before it was tore down, and they had a merch shop for the Phantom Menace, and oh my
That's
gosh,
so cool.
um, I was like in heaven, and I bought two things from there. I bought and it's not even binoculars; it's a camera. It like you put a old, like disposable camera in it, and then you use it like binoculars, but you can take pictures, and it imprints the characters from the movie. So like you could take a picture with Qui-Gon, and I was the kid that I did that.
Of course.
You could take pictures with Amidala and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul and C-3PO and all those. Like you can do that whole. I still have that. I don't have the other thing I got. It was a Jabba the Hutt figure because I never owned a Jabba the Hutt figure, so it was like, oh my gosh, Jabba the
Jabba.
Hutt. Like the Phantom Menace merch gave me an opportunity to finally have a Hutt. I was Diego Luna as a child. I just wanted the Hutt, and you could fill him with ooze, and
You
that's why.
could. I remember that.
Yeah, my
That was
mom,
so
she got rid of him.
gross.
He was messy.
It's a gross figure.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Well, because if you leave there was no way to clean him properly,
Mm-hmm.
and he was made out of like soft PVC plastic. It just didn't go well. So, but like I have things I've kept that whole time, and the reason I keep it is because it's special. But then I have things like that I bought because it's like this wasn't special enough to me when I had it and when I had the opportunity to appreciate it, but now I do, and so now I'm going to appreciate it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to, give it a place of pride, and I'm sure there's some psychologist that would tell me that that's wrong to do with physical objects or something, but it's just that idea of just like this is a tangible thing of something that I didn't appreciate at the time. Like I'm just taking life for granted. I'm just like, oh, this is just kid stuff. And then I grew up and I'm just like, no, there was more going on than just kid stuff. And this represents that to me.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have it. I have to appreciate it. Um, and that's what collecting is to me is appreciating the things maybe we don't appreciate at first or appreciating the things that we always knew were special, but appreciating them for different ways. They were
Mm-hmm.
special to me as a kid because I played with them, but now they're special to me because they remind me of a time when I was just happy as a kid, stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I really wanted to pick something not Star Wars because I feel like I've talked so much Star Wars on a not Star Wars episode, but
But listen, that's life. You attach meaning to things you love.
yeah,
And I've heard those stories so many times, but every time you talk about them, it just makes me smile
yeah,
because it's you
yeah.
in general.
I like strive for Rancho Obi-Wan levels of quality of like
Yes.
my collection is a museum, and I just really want people to come by so I can talk about everything.
It belongs in a museum.
If I mean we could fill the podcast with all the content if I talked about every piece
Yeah.
and
Which
everything, but like
I'd be okay with that,
yeah, like my
honestly.
dream and when I retire is to be able to museum curate my collection,
Yeah.
our collection, and that's what's crazy now is how blended it's become and everything.
Yeah. I mean, our stuff's right next to each other. You've got my Haros on your Gundam shelf
Yeah,
that I've built. Like that's the one thing I've attached myself to in the Gundamiverse is the
the cute
Haros
stuff.
and the balls.
Yeah,
Like those are the only two things that I love because they are orb and adorable.
or
Adorable.
and that's what's nice now is we have so many things we collect together and they themselves are representations and memories and everything.
Mhm.
Like so many Funkos especially are things that we've
Oh,
we've gone on adventures together to
heck yeah.
get and or they represent like I mean you're hard pressed to find good Twin Peaks memorabilia,
Mm-hmm.
and so the main thing we have of the first fandom you like pulled me into is a bunch of Funkos of Twin Peaks
Yeah,
characters.
like Dale Cooper was the first Funko Pop I ever bought because I
Yep,
wanted
he's
to.
up there. I think you
Yeah,
can
you can kind of see it if I
the
turn
other
a
way.
little bit. Nope, turn
Yeah,
right there, I think. But I have four.
yeah. You have your four horsemen of Megan,
Yeah,
four horsemen of Moo.
I put those up there in a special place because they are the people that I want to represent. I want to be most like.
That's fair.
Yeah,
What?
because
No, no. I mean, what about
I'm
the
gonna explain.
the
I'm
Illuminati
gonna
guy?
explain. So up there is Dale Cooper,
Uh-huh.
who I think is one of the
Best
most
character ever.
upright, just people,
Which happy
and best
belated
character.
Twin Peaks Day.
Yes, happy
If you
belated Twin
haven't
Peaks
watched
Day.
Twin Peaks, please give it a shot. It's a very good show,
Yeah.
especially season one.
Yes. In
Um,
the last half of season
you
2.
don't have to take in everything. I would go. I mean, we can talk more about Twin Peaks, and there will be a day, but like
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to take in everything.
Yes.
But at
Don't
least,
take it seriously.
yeah,
For God's
at
sake, don't
least
take it
season
seriously.
one is its own
Yeah.
like it's self-contained almost, and like I know a lot of people don't treat it as a good ending or like the end, but it almost could be, and
Yeah.
you get a good show out of it. But if you want to go weird and go further, you can. That's totally there. So, but
Yeah.
anyway.
But I have Dale Cooper, because, justice, that kind of thing. I have Barb Ross
Mm-hmm.
as a reminder to be kind,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to speak to people the way that he made me feel watching his videos.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be the positivity that I got from those videos.
I
We
like
watched him on VHS tape, by the way.
he's my example of just like I can't wait to get to an age where I just plateau and become wholesome
Right?
because my goodness,
Yeah.
I just want to be like Bob.
Yeah. I also have Jim Henson up there, specifically holding the Kermit,
Mm-hmm.
because I love Kermit.
Yeah.
I love Rolf too, but I love Kermit.
Which
He's oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like we mentioned on the last main show, you know how I'm getting into and watching the Muppet Show with you and everything, and like
Yes.
I've always enjoyed Jim Henson though. I've appreciated his work because he's up there as one of the creatives and
Mm-hmm.
character designers and creators like that are pioneers.
Oh yeah.
So like I've always had an appreciation of the person, never necessarily the art. Um, Mostly because I just skipped that growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But like going back and watching, it's cool to see his craft and like see him put into practice. Like I'm the guy
Yes.
that I'll appreciate the puppet you made more than the show you do with the puppet, if that makes sense.
Muppet. But yes, there's a
It's
difference.
a puppet. It's just the Muppet is the type of puppet.
Yeah.
Every Muppet is a puppet, but not every puppet is a Muppet.
Yes, it's a jacuzzi hot tub situation.
Exactly.
Exactly. He's the reminder of reckless creativity. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'd say is making something because I want to make it,
Mm-hmm.
not making something because people will
Yeah,
like
because
it
you
or
could look
not.
outside in and say Muppets is stupid.
Muppets.
Why did it get funded? Why are we still talking about it? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that, but I just mean like outside in. Like with so many things, you can be like, this is ridiculous. Why do people like this?
Mm-hmm.
Why does this exist? You know. And while there are some things that you can validly say that
Oh,
about
come
in
on.
life, I don't think Muppets is one. And I don't think most things
Yeah.
people like discredit like that
Yeah.
are worth like I don't agree with the sentiment of this is ridiculous and shouldn't exist. Like
Mm-hmm.
why not? Like it's wholesome and it's fun and you
Yeah.
know does it teach? I mean, you have more of a case for Sesame Street, I guess, because it's super educational. But like this is
Mm-hmm.
also just good entertainment
That's another
and it's
thing.
all age.
Like, I adore Sesame Street. I'm gonna put a Big Bird pop up there at some point
Hmm.
because I love
Yeah,
Sesame Street so
I
much.
appreciate the little nuggets I've seen of it more than anything because I didn't again grow up watching it, but I love the Mr. Hooper stuff. I love the times when they're very real and they
Mm-hmm.
break the fourth wall almost of like, hey, things can be different between people.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make them wrong or bad or less than. Like I love the things where it's just like, hey, adult who should know these things and be a good human,
Yeah.
watch this over and over until you get
Exactly.
it.
This is for you too. Like, they did a whole segment when the mask mandates started
Hmm.
rolling out where they were like, it seems scary. It's okay to be scared.
Yeah,
Like, this is life.
yeah,
Th- This is something we're doing to help people.
sure.
And I love how they always frame it in, you know, everyone's a person,
Hmm.
even if you're a monster, which is what Elmo is called. I'm not saying monsters.
And people, yeah.
Yeah. But this is for the greater good, is
Hmm.
how it's always been framed. And I love that. And I could go on a whole rant. I have gone on a whole rant about the HBO
Yeah,
acquiring Sesame Street, but that's for a completely different time.
yeah.
I don't want to get mad on the show. I don't want people to see me
That's
angry.
my job. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I have Jim Henson up there for creativity. And then I have Bill Cipher up there,
from
Gravity
Gravity
Falls,
Falls. Yeah.
who is a representation of Alex Hirsch in my mind, because I want to have that level of chaos while also being a good person.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to think of the name. I think I'm trying to think of what character I'm thinking of when I associate it of just like they're not necessarily good, but they're just fun.
Right?
You know, I think I don't. It's not who I intended to think of, but I think of like Loki from Supernatural,
Mm.
where it's just like in the end, like he's not evil. I mean, Bill Cipher's evil,
Bill
but
Cipher is
like
100%
it's just
evil.
one of those things where it's like, but he's fun until he's evil, at
Yeah.
least.
Like my ideal alignment is chaotic good,
Yeah.
which glean from that what you will.
Right.
But I love just confusing people in
Hmm.
general. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like my motto for pranks, bro, or whatever, has always been confuse, don't abuse.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah. Absolutely.
I will walk up to
Don't
someone.
be a Richard.
Yeah, don't be a Richard. If I could choose a spirit animal, it would be the horrible goose from Untitled Goose Game, where it just didn't hurt
Oh,
anyone.
the
It just sort of
honking
yonk.
goose. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Chaotic.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the four people
Stallion
characters.
duck.
Yes, that I
The
think
size
of.
that duck. Um, and that's you know it's exactly that of just like it's their physical representations of character
Hmm.
and experiences. And while I mean, I kind of do crap on it, and I'm sorry if people that listen are into it for that. Like, you know, I don't think collecting is about value, like
Mm-mm.
monetary or business value. I don't think it's
No,
ever supposed to be that. I mean, there's, I guess, no right, wrong way, whatever.
yeah,
You spent your money, do what you want.
like I've told the story before of when we got the Scar pop. Um,
Oh,
I
yeah.
I have incredible luck with
Yeah.
blind boxes, and I always say either I should open this thing or I
Or no,
shouldn't,
yeah.
based on what we want.
Because Funko releases a regular and a
Yeah,
exclusive,
a chase.
and you more than not, 8 times out of 10, get the chase, the exclusive version.
Yep, which with
In that
the
case, we
we
didn't
didn't
want.
want it. It was the red fire instead of the green. And
Yeah,
we wanted the green
right.
because that's what it looked like in the movie.
Yeah,
And
that's what
so,
invokes Scar.
and the guy that we traded with was so confused. Like, you don't want
Yeah,
this?
like
Like,
you don't like. Do you understand what you're doing and everything?
yeah.
Like, which good for him for being like, hey, you know this is
Hmm.
worth money. Like
Yeah.
you know you're giving up a better opportunity.
We don't want the money.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know, I mean, he just kind of represents the concept we're talking about. Like nothing bad about him or anything, but it was just that idea of just like, it was like,
hmm
okay, like cool. I'm just gonna get this off these saps and it's fine because like it was his opportunity because he
yeah.
collects in such a way that it's the pop value. It's not the idea, and it's just like for a character that represents. I mean, during our childhood, one of the better villains.
Yes, the best one.
You know, generationally, every Disney era kind of has its like lead villain. You
Hmm.
know, of the villains of these movies from X to X. You know, who's the best? I mean, generally, a lot of people think of
Hmm.
Scar in at least the top 10, and you don't like. I know me. I like that Funko Pop was perfect because I think of Scar specifically in the most Scar moment
Yes.
when he is, you know, singing the "Be Prepared" song, and it's just this is who he is. This is the epitome of Scar. His scheming, his evilness, the Nazi reference, you know, like all of it's just horrible.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like the the color association was strong of just like
Yeah.
no,
Very
they weren't
important.
red flames.
Hmm.
Like that's not how that worked. That's not right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so but yeah, I mean, it's just that idea of because this character's special, you know, this movie's special. Like, you know, I have special places in my hearts for movies about fathers that actually care about their children,
Whew.
and
Yep.
children that lose their father and regret it. Not, you know, like you know, the privilege. Like, oh my gosh.
Oh, you have a
So
dad? Ugh.
yeah, it's just like, oh, you miss your dad. So like it's those those movies have special places and everything, and I understand that the villain I like took away the dad and everything, but like Jeremy Irons is just freaking
Right?
fantastic.
Oh
He
man.
makes me like him even though I shouldn't, but also like Kerchak, like
Mm,
I mean, if there's a
Kerchak.
Funko Pop of that, I mean, like
Love
that
Kerchak.
was definitive Disney dad for me for a long time. I just that's a special movie. That's one of the best parts of Tarzan for me.
Mm,
So yeah, like, and that's what I love about your, Five Nights at Freddy's experience and everything, and that leading into the idea of collecting in general. And I know we talked about a lot, and I'm pretty sure I put two of these in there,
hmm
and it was on purpose of like giving us another chance to talk about something. So hopefully we still have something to talk about later because
Yeah.
we've talked so much about collecting and everything. But that just that idea of like, what does it matter? Who does it hurt? And why do we feel bad for appreciating and, memorializing these things that are special to us, these characters, these fandoms, these moments? What, like, it's going to be super cheesy, but like sparks joy lady of just like, if it makes you happy, like,
hmm
I'm a big technicality person, and anytime anybody says stuff like that, I'm also like, well, if it makes you happy in the right way, like, don't be
Yeah.
wrong and immoral, but like, just wholeheartedly, just like, if it makes you happy,
hmm
celebrate it, do it, enjoy it. We need to normalize doing that more for ourselves because in life, in the world we live, and it's not just now, it's not just this period, for now and forever, your kids are going to go through this, your parents went through it, like, it's just the world we live in, it's going to suck, and you
hmm
need the happiness that you can find and latch onto, so
Yeah.
do it.
And that's why I'm so unapologetic with my film opinions. Like, after rewatching it,
Face Off is not a good movie.
it's a it's
I'm
so
just
much
kidding.
fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch. Vampire's Kiss. I love that movie. It's so
It's
ridiculous.
Nicolas Cage's favorite movie, which
It's
says a
it's
lot.
mine too. Like I love that movie.
Just wait for the Nerdyverse episode about Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
It's going to
can't
be
wait.
horrible.
It's gonna be fantastic. But like
I'm not going to have a lot to say.
I love that movie because I think it's made for me. That's really stupid to say, but
No.
like it hits on everything that I love. It's really ridiculous performance by
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage. It's starring Nicolas Cage, my favorite actor. Um it's quasi supernatural horror. Like I love that genre. It's about a man going insane and thinking that he's a vampire. That movie was tailor made with everything that I love, and like it's a bad movie. I know
But
it's a
you
bad
like it.
movie. I love
But
it.
you like it. I mean,
Um,
it's one of those things just because, and I just say this from my perspective, but I think more people need to be clear with this. Like, just because there's criticisms, just because there's um,
mhm.
lower quality, and that's just like a stated fact, doesn't necessarily mean that overall it's bad. Like when
Yeah,
I say like something isn't very good, it's not necessarily to say that the film is bad, you shouldn't watch it, like burn the DVD.
yeah,
Don't give the man your money. It's more of a just like, this isn't great, but at the end of the day you can watch it, it's fine. But if
yeah.
you really want to get deep with it, and that's the thing, is usually it's, I'm coming from a point where I've thought 10 miles down the road. I'm
hmm
not taking it surface level. If I took it that way, it's just a fun stupid movie. But when you start to dig in, you're just like, oh man,
Yeah.
this is ridiculous.
And that's my thing is I just like watching movies.
Sure.
I don't look at it like a critic anymore. Like I spent so much time doing that and now I'm just watching movies. Like I
Hmm.
have a coworker who every conversation we have about movies, he'll walk up to me and be like, "I watched this the other night. It sucked. I hated it." Like and then he'll point out all of the little bits and pieces that he didn't like.
Yeah.
And it just makes me not want to talk to him about
Well,
movies.
we
Like,
expect a lot about, we expect a lot from our movies and everything. We expect to get a lot out of it, and
yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the criticism comes from for a lot of people, is just high expectations of just like, it's going to be this, it's going to do that, and it's going to feel like that, and
Yeah.
end of story. And so if it doesn't meet those boxes, we wholeheartedly say, well, no, it's bad. And
Yeah,
and
like
that's not it's not wholesale like that, you know.
mhm. I watch movies because I want to be entertained.
Yeah,
Like I don't want to think critically for a little while.
sure.
Like I talked to someone recently about the Super Mario Brother movie, and they were just like fully, "This movie is garbage. I hate it. I never want to see it again." And I was like, "Well, what about this?" Like they showed the bomb, and that was pretty cool. Like
Hmm.
I think it was just so
You're
neat.
very good, yeah, at finding things to at least appreciate in it and
Yeah,
everything, and it's enviable. And I mean, if more people worked on that,
yeah,
I mean, and I say I can include myself in that crowd because even when I say I'm just talking about it. Like
yeah.
even then, it can come off. I have to be very clear when it's just like, no, I like the movie. It's fun.
Mhm.
It's just bad.
Yeah.
I have to be very clear about my intentions with that stuff because it's just I can just sound overly critical
Mhm.
when in reality it's because I like it that I feel like I can be like, you know what, I appreciate it, but this is not cool.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
you're very upfront with that. You're very, honest with that, and you're very gracious with things. And
Yeah.
I think
I
it's just
mean,
because you, like you said, you don't have time to not be nice. Like,
exactly.
oh my gosh, the world sucks. Can we not just enjoy stuff? And that's what I mean with the whole collecting thing of just like,
It sparks joy. Let
yeah,
it
I
spark,
mean
my guy.
it, and that's not a wholesale endorsement of her and her methods and everything like that, or anything. It's just the idea of like she hits the nail on the head, at least in that of just like like have a reason to it and have it be more than just value or
Mhm. There's a truck.
the Terminator is coming for us. Um,
Looking for the mother of John
like
Connor.
do it for the sake of being a happier, better person, and
Mhm.
I like to think that's why and what I collect are things that represent better things that in the end I mean like ridiculous cheesiness and everything, but I can look at my collection and be like, yeah, my life's not that bad because
Mhm.
everything represents something that's better than maybe right now, maybe better than other moments in my life, and maybe better than what's to come. But I can look at it and be like, I remember that toy. I remember like going to the toy store for that. I
Yeah.
remember this experience. I remember watching this movie with this character. Like I had like whatever. I can look at that and be like, yeah, life's not bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Like I'll walk up to the turtle shelf and just look at
like
it
how can you be
sometimes, just be like,
mad? Yeah,
"Yay!"
how can you be mad with your with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in your life? So
Right?
we talked about a lot, and this is the idea. This is a really good first episode to help get the idea out there of what we're going for and everything. And we've covered a lot, but the idea initially of something in our collection, and it's a jumping off point. And again, I think that's why I included it when I wrote it was the idea of it's less about this really cool 25 points of articulation, highly detailed face sculpt figure. No, it's more about
Yeah.
what it represents.
It
And
gives me the happy chemicals.
yeah, and I think that's uh, a subcategory of what our intent is with Hat Chatter is the idea of like we're more than our fandoms, we're more than our podcast seems, we're more
Yeah.
than Nerd Herder, we're people, and in the end, all of us are more than what we seem and represent and look like and sound like and feel like and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. And so being able to open up and just be a little bit more than what is perceived and to kind of let the curtain fall down a little bit. It's nice, and so we would love. We know we have a lot of followers and friends who are collectors as well. So we'd love to hear from you of something special in your collection and special to you. Again, we didn't
Mhm.
talk about anything super special, but special to you, something in your collection. We'd love to hear from you about that, and we're most active on like Twitter and Instagram, so be sure to let us know. And also your opinions on collecting. We talked a lot about our perspective on it. What's your perspective? Are you in that same camp, or if you collect for the value, like if you appreciate things because of what they represent that way, share your thoughts because we obviously don't come from that perspective, and we're not saying you're wrong.
No, we could
Um,
turn our cameras right now and show you all of the Funkos out of the
oh
box.
yeah, I know for a fact we could make some money we could have made more money, but we can make some money off of our. I know our collection has things of value. Like I know of certain things even where it's just like people are like royally upset
Hmm.
probably because I have something that they can't have, and
Hmm.
it's just like, but it's just like I don't have it. I didn't buy this to hurt anybody.
No,
It's special, you know.
we something we didn't talk about that I thought about was we have a signed mall pop,
Yeah.
signed by both Ray Park and Sam Witwer that was personalized for me.
Yeah, which is another thing though too of like signatures is very similar
Yeah.
conversation of that of the sentiment behind it and everything, not because of oh, yeah, so and so. So, but if you're in a different camp of why you collect and what you collect, let us know. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it, and hopefully we didn't seem like we were overly critical of your perspective. We're just representing what we represent and everything. So
Hmm. I mean, all I'm saying is there's a reason I couldn't get the Bebop and Rocksteady for a long time.
yeah, scalpers, man. Thank you to our awesome patrons who support our crazy work. They are amazing. And
Yeah, you paid for
Jim,
this.
yeah, Jim, Doug, and Rebecca, you guys are great and you keep us going. If you want to join our Patreon is essentially if you like what we do, you can support the show, and you're invited into conversations and input, and that's essentially what our Patreon is set up for. We don't have high tiers; it's not super expensive. It's just the idea of, I mean, yeah, we could use support for equipment costs and just overall cost of the show, and also just things to make it better.
Hmm.
Um, but at the end of the day, we don't have a whole lot to offer for that. So it's completely voluntary, which makes it even the crazier that people do that. They give us their money and everything. So, but you can join that if you want and be a part of input to the show and everything. Um, Shout out to Jesse with Game Infinite. Gaming stuff is happening. Republic Commando is getting a port to the Switch.
Very
We're getting a
exciting.
new Star Wars game and just all kinds of other things. And he's talking about all of it, Star Wars and otherwise. So if you want more gaming news and if you want gaming reviews and ranks, Game Infinite does all kinds of stuff. And also shares cosplayers, artists, all kinds of things. Like you'd be surprised how many talented people are out there doing gaming stuff, probably about some of your favorite characters. So at Game Infinite on Twitter and Instagram or GameInfinite.net, you can find and support them. Then also Red5, Red5Network.com, a slew of
Oh,
podcasts,
so many
an
boys.
avalanche of content right into your ear holes and eye crevices. Um, yeah,
Gross.
I don't know what I was going for. But yeah, Red Five's full of cool people. You should check them out, support them, and listen to them. When we're not releasing content and you need it in your veins, you need your fix, we can recommend some folks
Yeah.
over at Red Five. Um, and with that, we'll be back with something else next week. you know,
Something.
um, we are now a Star Wars and other podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
So
And humanity?
you never know what you're gonna get with Nerd Herder, and that's the way we like it because we're a box of chocolates, specifically the ones with the strawberry filling.
Ooh, those are good.
So, subscribe for more, like for more, rate, and tell people you love it, and just do something that makes you happy this week,
Meet a man named Charles.
or don't. I only know one Charlie, and he wasn't that great. So, I've learned if I've learned anything in life, it's based your entire opinion of a group of people off of one person. So,
What about Star Wars conversations,
cancel
Charlie?
Charlies.
It's pretty. Whoa.
Cancel all Charlies.
Oh
This
no.
this is an emergency message. Cancel all
Cancel all
Charlies.
Charlies. I'm so sorry, Charles. I'm sorry. Even Charles Soule?
I have to state when I'm joking in life now, and that's the saddest
TM.
point.
Yeah. That's fine.
Don't cancel all Charlies, just that one.